Let's just start with the basics here. Why did this guy, who was destined to go to his ranch in Wichita Falls, decide not to go there, but to go to Washington, D.C.? How did Donald Trump make this sell to him?
Well, he relays that conversation. He's relayed that conversation in his conversation with State Department employees, which is saying that his wife essentially told him, look, your mission is not done yet. You've essentially spent 41 years at Exxon training for this job. And it sounds like it wasn't even so much Donald Trump, but his wife that sort of pushed him into taking this. Now, the scale of the challenges he faces there are immense. I think a lot of the people, when they look at Donald Trump's cabinet, they say, OK, these people are bringing business experience. There's no one with much more business experience than Rex Tillerson. But the issue is Trump going to actually let him use that experience, use the management techniques he's used, use what he's had in this buccaneering style of taking this oil major around the globe? And so far, we don't see much evidence of that.
A lot of astonishing stuff in this piece. What stood out to me was you have all of these leaders coming to Washington, D.C. Rex Tillerson is not in the room when President Trump is meeting with the leader of Canada or Japan or Israel. Why is that the case? Where does he fit into this whole foreign policy apparatus?
Not even in the room, but not even informed on some of our most important foreign policy decisions, whether or not that's the immigration order that was rolled out, the very botched procedure that was. Obviously, the decision when we're looking at cutting at foreign aid, looking at what we're going to do with USAID and some of these other programs, NATO, our involvement there, basically what our foreign policy strategy is going to be going forward. He has been sidelined so far. As we know, Donald Trump has kept a very close cabal of advisors around him. Now, we also hear from inside the State Department that morale there has also sunk. He's been positively received. People really want him and want him to come in and be able to have the reins to do what they're doing. But so far, staffers there feel like there is no direction. There's no guidance. You know, a place where people usually have the busy work of several meetings a day are basically sitting on their hands. In an article in Politico earlier this week, someone described it as almost caring for a terminally ill patient. So that's the challenge he faces internally as well. But so far, he is not being looked at as a key advisor in this administration.
He took this big trip to Europe, spoke at the Munich Security Conference. I remember looking at an email outlining that trip beforehand, who was going to be traveling with him. I think 6 acting assistant secretaries of state. His spokesman is an acting spokesman. He's really inherited, at least piecemeal, a lot of the staff from John Kerry.
But you're exactly right. And what's so interesting is when we think of the State Department, we think of their outreach to the world for America. But outside America, they look at the moves by the State Department, everything from who they're traveling with to who they meet with, who's on the plane, what meetings are called, what sort of procedures and policies are followed. That protocol is so much a part of how foreign leaders and foreign governments look to the State Department. No press briefings, for example. Those press briefings we see internally as briefings to American reporters and foreign reporters stationed in America. Again, outside America, they're scrutinized for even the slightest clue of a slight change of position in American foreign policy across the globe. And the absence of those things, whether it's protocol and travel, whether it's a press briefing, those all are giving subtle hints to people elsewhere, and they are struggling to interpret what they should read into this. And particularly if Rex Tillerson is hobbled at the knees in his outset, as the head of this department, his ability to lead it and forge that level of trust with foreign leaders is going to be very difficult indeed.
Does he want to be speaking out more? Is he being silenced by those above him, by the administration itself? Is he somebody who would like to be giving more speeches, would like to be holding press briefings, and it's not, or is that just not in his style?
I don't think that anyone has a career like he's had and lead an organization like he's had and take that organization and for the ruthless pursuit of shareholder value, as we talk about in this piece, drive it into places, Kazakhstan, around the world, drilling for oil resources with not having a backbone of absolute steel of what you believe in and your own management prowess. We also talk about, when he managed in Exxon, he would give people merit badges for leadership,
like
for
the Boy Scouts,
history.
right,
He's the former president of the Boy Scouts of America. And that is a man who absolutely wants to perform, who believes in the galvanizing impact of leadership. And I think what he will be calling out for and what he'll really want to say to the president is, give me a chance to lead. My God, I've shown I have a career track record of doing it.
Last question here. When's he going to pick a deputy? I remember after he was named, there was talk of it being Richard Haas at CFR, John Bolton, the former ambassador to the UN. He wanted Elliot Abrams to have that job, and in the end, President Trump said, no, he criticized me on the campaign trail, you can't have him. It's important for him to have somebody who knows his way around Foggy Bottom, his or her way around Foggy Bottom.
Many people have said that, in fact, this was one of the most crippling actions early on, is to not be able to even pick your own deputy. He has a set of staffers around him, which are drawn, frankly, from the Trump campaign. He has got to be able to forge his own way. We are waiting anxiously to see what that pick will be. This will be a true testing point. Is it going to be his own man, or is it going to be a Trump man? We'll have to wait and see. But his future depends on him being able to carve his own path, obviously in alignment with the administration.
Great to see you, as always. Thanks very much.